Hello and welcome to the Wellness Agents. Thriving in a changing world, knowing there is always more to learn is what we are all about. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Karen. And today we're going to be talking about prana and love. And when I say love, I mean for yourself. So, Sarah, can you describe or give a good definition of when you say prana, what do you actually mean?
Prana, it's one of those words that I use a lot in my yoga teaching and the classes and work that I do. Prana is that sense of aliveness that you have in your cells almost. It's like, how alive do you feel? How energized do you feel? It's like people sometimes associate it with the breath, but the breath isn't the prana. The breath is like the carrier, if you like, of the prana. The prana is that life force. You could think of it as life force. How energized you are, how you feel, how have you woken up this morning? You could even ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how energized am I to greet the day? How energetic do I feel? Not physically, but it does come into all those layers, but on every layer, in your physical body, how you are emotionally, how you're feeling mentally, all those layers. And then we've got the pranic layer. So this prana, it comes from everywhere and it's something that you can manage. But in short answer to your question, Karen, it's that sense of aliveness. It's that life force within you that you run on, if you like. It's like your battery. How charged is your battery?
So many things contribute to that, don't they? That can be the moods around you, like not necessarily your mood.
Your environment. Yeah.
But also, like, I didn't have particularly brilliant sleep last night, so therefore don't feel like I'm firing on all my charges, sort of thing. And I guess also with what you eat.
Yeah.
How
Definitely.
happy are you in your job? All those sort of things.
All those things that draw down, don't they? They draw down. If you think of, when you wake up, say you wake up and you've got your allocation of prana, but for a lot of people, they might wake up, one, if they haven't had good sleep, two, if they start ruminating. The mind is such a powerful force that if you start ruminating on all the things you've got to do, or all the things that you don't think you'll get done, or that you're not good enough, or that you're not feeling right, suddenly it's like you're drawing down on that prana bank. And before you even, get out the front door, you could have already lost 20% of your allocation for the day. And then you can always top it up. But do we top it up enough?
Do we even think to? Because the trouble is when you're flat and low, that's when you've least got the motivation to do very much about it. It's just
True.
like some people go and hibernate in a room, or just have that capacity to shut themselves off from what's going on around them.
Shut off, or have a sugar binge or a coffee binge, and all those things, not saying not to have them now and again, but they do draw it down.
Yeah.
Another way of thinking about prana is that most people might be able to relate to is when you go to the beach and you walk along the beach and the waves are crashing in and you get all that negative ion energy. You know how sometimes that can be really invigorating? That is like a prana charge. It's like you've just been in this charging atmosphere and it's uplifted you.
Yeah, you had me picturing, being along the beach in that same setting, but a really brisk sea breeze where you just feel like clears out all the dust.
It does. It's like get rid of all that negative thinking, heaviness, staleness. Because the interesting thing is that from the yogic perspective, we know, and from energy medicine, we know that this pranic field feeds into your physical form. So if you can keep that pranic field vibrant and alive, you're feeding the best you can into the physical body. And imagine if it's depleted and stale and tired and lethargic, it's just then not being able to rejuvenate what the physical form needs. And then disease starts to manifest and you get tired and lethargic. And the less you do, the less you want to do, the more you seize up that whole, that whole connective tissue that holds us all together is suddenly then getting tight and stiff. And it's like the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've also, within the kinesiology clinic, explained, you might be at a social setting and you're actually having quite a good time. And then someone who you really don't like being in the space of, they either make you angry or frustrated or something negative, and they walk in the room, but you haven't actually seen them walk in the room, but you feel their presence.
Mm.
Would you also connect that to like that pranic field as
Yeah,
far
it's
as,
affected
yeah,
you. We're energetic, and
yeah,
we're so beyond our physical form, isn't it? And it's like some part of your energetic being has picked up that, because that's like a threat, isn't it? So it's then suddenly
yes, yeah,
changed some things going on within your energetic system, that there's sort of like a threat or a in the room.
you're on the alert,
You're on
yeah.
the alert.
Because a
Yeah.
while back,
Cool.
and I've been very slow getting it up onto YouTube, but my one video that I got on YouTube has taught me that I need to make sure the editing is done before you put it up. And I've done a series on learning to love yourself by what you choose to, and then it's ... So it could be eat, drink, think, how you move. How else? It's about 6 categories. And because I didn't actually, it was a few years ago now, but I said to a therapist that I was getting some energy work from, I said, what does it even mean to love yourself? What does that even mean? What does it look like? Because I can look in the mirror and go, morning, Karen, love you, but it's shallow.
Mm.
It's words. Okay,
Yeah.
they're good words. There could be
Yeah.
worse words,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it I didn't feel anything. And I think that's the real word,
Feel.
feel. And
Mm.
some of us do it better than others. But anyway, his response was, well, it's what you feed it yourself. And he wasn't just talking food, the quality of the movies you watch,
Yeah.
or books that you read,
Yeah.
the quality of the people around you, if
Yeah.
you're feeling like they're not serving your heart
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're a
And
constant
like
drain.
choosing to how you move,
Mm.
like I know people that they need to be doing that high intensity, boxercise or
Yeah.
triathlons or marathons. Well, that just makes me do a big sigh. And I'm much happier doing the walk along the beach or going to yoga or a meditation group or something like that. But yeah, it was really interesting that we were both on the same, doing stuff in the background on the same subject, but from a
Yes.
different perspective. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is. It's the key, isn't it? It's like, and I see so many people having worked for many years in community services, in women's health, but also in disability, and seeing and employing and working with caring staff. And quite often we want to go out and save the world or save someone else, and we haven't even looked at ourselves. And if you haven't done the work for yourself, if you're not coming from this full place of being balanced in those areas as best as you can, then you're really kidding yourself that you're going to be of any help to anybody, because you just attract what you're lacking. So it's so important. And a lot of people challenged me in that time when I was doing a lot of training and development of those staff, saying, well, that's selfish. To put yourself first is selfish. I got that a lot, and they'd be quite cross. But it's about knowing that when you come from that full place, if you fill this cup to the full overflowing, like if you've got that paper cup or those plastic cheap little cups and they're empty and you squeeze them, they crinkle and scratch, but if it's full, they're really sort of soft and pliable. If you fill it with water, then there's all this sort of softness to it. And it's the same if we fill our own cup up to be full and overflowing. We come from a place of fullness
abundance.
and no
Yeah,
expectation of what we're going to
yeah.
get back. And I used to see people that hadn't done anything on themselves, they'd expect something back. There'd be an ulterior motive. There'd be other things linked in, and that results in drama, as we know, and expectation. So filling your own cup first is.
So sometimes too, I've seen where the motivation for them wanting to save the world, because like in over 30 years of nursing, we've seen this often enough, where their motivation is still about feeding their ego of look at me, look what I can do, look what I do for other people. And they are amazing. I'm not going to take that away. They do really good stuff. But what's their motivation for doing that, as opposed to doing it because it's the right thing to do?
Mm.
And it's where if I had a clash at work, it was because I was doing, because as a registered nurse, the charter is to be the patient's advocate, not the system.
Yes.
And so usually when I had an issue at work, and luckily got broad shoulders and a thick skin, I would be standing up for the patient. And I've had doctors yelling at me. I've had administrators yelling at me. I've had senior nurses. They're a bit scared of me, so they don't so much yell at me, but they're more conniving. They're cleverer with how they manage me. But the thing is, if I was being the patient's advocate, which I used that charter, that was the basis for why I was nursing. It's why I had a job. As opposed to look at me, I'm wearing a registered nurse uniform and aren't I really amazing?
Yeah.
As opposed, like there's that difference of what is motivating you to do what you're doing. And if you're doing it to bigwig yourself, putting it bluntly, there's work to be done. And it doesn't mean that you're probably doing a really good job, but get the motivation right. And then I had no fear standing ground with doctors because I was doing the role I was paid to do, but it's sadly missing a lot. And it has been for a long time, because my father died in 97 and he was commenting then when he was in hospital that, the advocacy wasn't there then. So it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it has. And it's avoidance. I see people who are doing things they think for the right reasons, and they probably believe that because no one's challenged them to actually go a bit deeper. And it's an avoidance thing. It's like, oh, well, while I'm helping everyone else, while I'm getting accolades for this or feeling good because I'm helping people, I don't have to look within.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
And keep myself busy.
Yes.
Keep myself very busy.
Yeah. So
and the science is done, Sarah. So, we don't have to actually ask any more questions because the science is done. How often is the science revamped?
Exactly. Yeah.
The moment someone says to you the science is done, you go, yeah, well, that means you've given up.
You've just closed your mind. It's like someone saying, oh, I've done all the work on myself. I've done it all. I'm good. I'm fixed. Well, that never ends either. That never ends. As long as you're in this human meat suit on this planet, you've got
challenged.
Yeah. Always. And it goes back, doesn't it? As you know, from all the kinesiology work, it goes back once you've started getting into deeper layers, you start healing from other generations. So it does never end.
Never ends. And how much energy work have you received in your lifetime? How much have I received in my lifetime? And when we're working with people, we're also, because we're the conduit to them getting the care, we actually benefit there too. We're still human. We've still got our problems.
Well, it's part of being human, and it's like the journey is ongoing. So embrace the journey. And I suppose one of the things I like to say is that our biggest task here is to know ourselves. Know thyself. That comes up all the time. The answer to everything really comes back to know thyself. Know all those layers of yourself.
Yeah.
Do the work. Find ways of, pushing yourself to get deeper and deeper and engage other people, other services. There's so many, and there's not one size fits all, and there's not one modality that does everything. It's like you need to build a network around you, which is something we really advocate, is for you to find people that are dedicated to their modality from a place where they've done the work and they're offering a really good service, and then find who they connect with and get a team of really genuine, authentic people around you who can help.
Very, very important that you like your therapist
Mm.
and acknowledge that no one is going to fix you.
Yeah. That's another one, isn't it?
And because I've turned around when someone said, oh my goodness, after that last session I got this fabulous change, and I'll go, well done you. And they go, no, you did the work. I said, no, I didn't. I facilitated it. But you have to make the changes, because you could be having a repeat pattern. Say if you're 50 years old, you could have a repeat pattern that's just gone on all your life, and suddenly it's not repeating. It is because you came to me to stop it happening. So you were the initiator of that. And then I do some of the stuff that kinesiology does, and you can now see it. It's in your consciousness, and you might still sometimes fall back into that old patterning, but you'll see it and you'll go, no, we're making changes here.
And then that
it can be as simple as you go back and apologize to someone. And that makes the change.
It does. And also it's like, you might also see, you would have seen it, is that you could work with someone, they do get the change, but then nothing else changes, and so they revert back.
Yes.
So it's like you do need to be committed to do the work, to change your environment, to change your thinking, to start making those little changes, because what you want to do is establish these changes that are lifestyle changes for good, don't you?
Yeah.
Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. You might get a glimmer, oh, I feel better, and then you go back to the same old environment, same way of thinking, surrounded by the same people, perhaps, if they are pulling you down, which you see a lot, people stuck into relationships that aren't serving. And they get pulled back down, and it is a real struggle then to come back out and make those changes. But it doesn't take a lot. When one person changes the dance changes. Change your step.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So, well, there's so many topics that even come out of that one's presentation, but we
yes. What would you like to hear? So we're launching this into YouTube, the Wellness Agents YouTube, and so we would really encourage you to let us know what you'd like us to talk about, to share with you, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And between Sarah and I, we've got many decades of healthcare delivery in different forms. And we want people to step up and go, yeah, I've had enough of feeling like that. Because it does boil down to how you feel, that pranic feel.
Yeah.
If something's that little worm in your head that, new year, 2024, onwards and upwards, I want that done. I want that behind me. Well,
and
we're happy to talk about it if we don't ever raise it as a subject sort of thing.
So much to share, and we just want minds open, and be prepared to let go of what you think you knew and open up to new information, because that's the world we're living in.
So wellness agents, helping you to thrive in a changing world, and also there is always more to learn.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This content is created for informational purposes only. Always seek the guidance of a qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding your personal health.